Hello. Hi. What's up? My thumbs do that, by the way. Hello. I'm Dylan. This is Tabletop Roots. This is a different video than other videos I've done. The plan or a plan of this channel was to have more of a chat, tabletop talks, table talk, talking, podcast style, just to add a little bit of something. I've done a podcast in the past, Dylan with Life. Check it out wherever you get your podcasts. And that was a project that I knew I wanted to do at a time, and I started it, and it was pretty rough at the start because I had never done anything like that before. I'd never done any audio editing, any production of any sort. But it was something I wanted to do. And so the first 3-ish videos, maybe more, 3 or 4 videos, the editing is pretty jarring. So if you are going to listen to it, maybe go somewhere in the middle, because I did feel like I hit a groove at one point, and it became something that I would say I was proud of. And I think that I generally, in my life, have not said I'm proud of much, if anything. And that was a thing that I was proud. I think those were decent. Some of them, at least, I think were decent. And I think there was that pride there that made it difficult to keep doing it. Like, I would take multi-month breaks, a year-long break. I did it over a couple of years. I haven't done an episode. Gosh, it's October 23rd as I'm recording this. November something, early November last year. So it's been almost a whole nother year since I put one out. And part of that reason is I build up this expectation for myself that it has to be decent, at least. I'm not saying it's a great podcast by any means, but I think it was decent. I think it was worth putting out. I think it was worth somebody listening to. The right person would take value from it. But I think it got hard for me to keep doing because of that pressure. And I think the segue there is already with this endeavor, with this YouTube channel, I'm struggling to go full on, and I've missed a week already. Last week I didn't post anything. This week, unless I get this edited in the next 24 hours, I'm probably going to wait another week. And it's that pressure of I'm struggling to even sit down and record because I don't want it to be bad. And I'm like my own biggest critic, in the sense that I'm not happy with the videos that I've done so far. I'm happy that I've done them, edited them, put them out, posted them, all that. I'm happy that I've got to that stage, but I'm not necessarily happy with the quality of any of them. I don't think I have the right energy. And then in talking with my partner about that, it's like, well, that's just not who I am. And then it's like, if that's not who I am, then what am I doing? And so if it's that high energy and engagement style that I'm not happy with, but that's also not who I am, how am I going to marry that? How am I going to get comfortable with that while still being me? And I think maybe episodes and versions like this can help with that. But then also I look at my intro video and it was depressing almost, and felt like it was trying to be a deeper thing than it was, than me just I'm starting a YouTube channel and here's why, and I'm happy about it. So yeah, in part of that like search of perfection, or as close as I can get to it, and critiquing my things, I've gonna say I canceled a video. Not that I put a video out or had planned it. There was a video that I recorded that I'm not gonna put out because I was not in a good headspace for it. So my energy definitely wasn't there when I'm already not stoked on my energy on a good day. That was not there. And then my audio recorded through the laptop instead of the microphone. And that was the kicker when I was already like, when the video ended, I sat there and I was like, oh, I hated that. Like I knew I wasn't stoked on it. Didn't look at it for 2 weeks, went to edit it, saw the audio was messed up, and I just closed it all up. But what it was an unboxing, of course, of City of Six Moons, which I have here. So I might as well talk a bit about it. And the problem was I was so excited. Like I was so excited for this game. I saw blanking so bad. Shut Up and Sit Down did a video on this, and immediately when I saw it, I was like, that's fucking sick. Especially the way that they talked about it. What it is, if you don't know, and I'll get into it a little bit more, but it's basically a solo experience, not necessarily a solo game, a solo puzzle experience. But yeah, so I ordered it off of the Hollandspiel website pretty much immediately after seeing that video. And of course, probably a ton of people did the same because they ran out of product. They ran out of pieces. They needed wood pieces from Germany, and it took a couple months. And in the time that I ordered this game and before it came is when I started this whole channel. And the whole time I was like, I cannot wait to do the unboxing of this game. I can't wait to talk about this game. And then that day and time came, and I sort of forced myself into recording it at a time when I knew I shouldn't, but I wanted to. And it's just the weird psychology that I'm dealing with of doing this channel where I've done like 6 videos and I know I've got like 10 views per video, but I'm putting this weird pressure on it being something special or something grand that forced me into doing the video when I didn't actually, when I shouldn't have. And it turns out the audio didn't work out anyway, and so it's not going to make it out. So we'll do a little unboxing of it now because it's super simple. There was a baggie with a bunch of wooden pieces. I don't have a top camera for this because this is just me. I think it's probably on here. 28 cards, 1 canvas board, 1 rulebook, 52 wooden pieces. That's 48 of these blue circular pieces, 2 red pawns, 2 blue pawns. Your cards look like this. They are double-sided, different on the back. They all have symbols on them. This is the game board. And then the best part about it, this is your rule book. And if you're thinking, hey, That doesn't make much sense. You're right. And that's sort of the whole point. City of Six Moons is a found game, not a designed game. It says discovered by instead of designed. Basically, it's an alien civilization building game from an alien civilization. And what you do when playing the game is you're really just looking at all the iconography in that rulebook, touching the pieces, moving them around in different ways, and trying to come up with a playable game. I have... Let me see. What's that? Yeah. I've played it. The first day I opened it, I played it for 5 hours. I opened it at like 11:30 at night thinking, I'll just play like, I don't know, half an hour. I'll poke around. I'll see what it's about. I'll go to bed. I'll, scratch the itch. The game finally showed up. I didn't go to bed till 4:30 in the morning. And I only went to bed by taking pictures of every page of the rule book and then going to bed and lying there and just staring at the rule book. But I've been like writing down notes. First, what's in there? I've got questions. What is this? What are these symbols? What these symbols could mean. More pages. I ran out of pen ink, or I changed pen ink because I'm going to fill this page up. Yeah, just more. What the anatomy of a card is. Just trying to understand it. And it's obviously not the type of game that's going to be for everybody. But if you're into puzzles, this seems super cool. I will say I haven't gone back to it a ton. The next day, I put in another 2-3 hours. The day after that, I put in another 2-3 hours. Didn't touch it for a week. Put in an hour. And then in the month and a bit since, I've opened it once, and that was to show it to friends. And it was more of a hey, look how cool this thing is. But I did not make much progress, if any, in the 10 plus hours that I put into it. But it is something that I think about still quite frequently, and I love it. I do have, there's a connection with this game that is very special, and I do expect to put more time into it and figure it out and have something playable by the end. And then share it with somebody, be like, hey, take this, see what you can do, and then let's talk about this. Because I think that's where, as a solo experience, and it doesn't have to be a solo experience. There's no reason you can't sit down with a group of friends, open up the rule book or pass the rule book around and go through it with other people. There's no reason you can't do that. But I'd like to do it on my own because that's who I am. Have a friend do it and then chat about it. And that sort of, yeah, I don't know, that type of solo gaming, what am I trying to say? There's a potential in solo gaming to still do it with somebody. I'm getting into Final Girl recently, by the way. Sneak peek at probably a video coming shortly after this. I got Shriek. It's still in the shrink. It's got red foil. And a red-haired girl. But in playing and getting into Final Girl, there's a part of me that really wants a friend of mine to be into Final Girl so that they can tell me about the experience they've had and I can tell them about the one I had. It's a solo thing. You do it on your own, but I think there's still a camaraderie to it. Obviously, it's different than playing a proper co-op game, but there's still interest and intrigue that can be shared with people that are doing the same thing. And yeah, I think as I've gotten older, I'm just more confident in who I am and who I want to be. And I think I've probably mentioned that before, and that includes being a board gamer. And another big reason for this channel is just that you can't always find people to play a game with. And so this channel is an outlet. It's when I'm sitting here over a week and I'm like, oh man, I haven't played a game and I don't really feel like doing a solo game right now, but I want to consume that content, be a part of that content. It's like, this is a way I can talk about this cool game I have and talk about my thoughts on that. And yeah, the solo, part of that, I think solo gaming, and maybe I'm not as in the hobby as I should be, or obviously I shouldn't be anything, or as I could be, but it seems like to me that solo gaming is just about to blow up. Like obviously there's tons of solo games out there already, but I feel like solo gaming is only gonna get bigger. Because it's just way more accessible. Anybody can do it. The games are starting to get good. And I'm sure there's gonna be something that happens in a similar way to this that just breaks the mold and makes it different. Changes the game. And captures maybe a larger group of people, and then that becomes a gateway into more board games. There's also the part of, and I could like, in my podcast, it was all audio, no visual. And that's so much easier to hide edits. And I don't want anything I do to be overly scripted, overly edited, but I do want it to be good. I probably edit way more than people think or people realize in my videos and certainly in my podcast, but because I would just go over the pause in between sentences and just like a little bit longer. I need a little bit of that dramatic effect. I don't like cut out whole sections and move this here and put this there. It's more just like really getting the timing down and making it sound authentic and sound not dramatic, but with feel. And having to do that with video is a lot different because I can't just chop and pause and extend little holes and like I've got this, I have my laptop here. Do I try to hide that? Do I try to make it seem like there's not a couple notes on there that I'm trying to look at and trying to like refresh myself on? Is that a pause I should change? Should I re-say on and re-edit that? The thinking when I look outside and I'm like, oh, and I'm trying to finish a point. That's a thing that on my podcast, I'd sort of cut that out. I'd keep a pause there because that's what happened. There's a pause and it's natural, but I'd probably change that a bit. But being on video, being on camera is not something I'm used to. And so I look around. It's not as intuitive to make eye contact with a camera, and I fidget. What do I do with my hands? Like when I'm speaking? That's been one of the fun things editing is just noticing when I'm talking how much my hands are just doing things. But it's fall. As I look out the window, that's how I got onto this. As I look out the window and I can see the trees, the leaves changing. It's fall now, and that is prime board game season. Some of the friends that I play board games with really take the summer off. They're very outdoorsy. We live in Squamish. They're hiking, they're camping, they're kayaking, they're climbing, they're doing it all. But now I got them. Now I freaking got them. Kieran, I'm talking to you. You can't run. So last 2 weeks, Dead of Winter for the first time. Played that twice. First time we did it with a betrayer, and there was a betrayer. And it was kind of weird because it was 2 of our first times, 3 of us playing. Second time we played, 4 of us. We did full co-op mode. It's really good. I like co-ops. What do I got? Spirit Island, obviously Pandemic. Skyteam, I've been playing a lot of Skyteam. But every time I play them, every time I play any sort of co-op, and I need to revisit Paleo because I think it's probably better than I've given it credit for, and I still think it's good. But anytime I play co-ops, somebody's like, "Oh, this is like Pandemic." And it's like, yeah, so many of the co-op board games came from Pandemic, and it is just a triage situation. Things are happening. You need to decide where to put your time and effort while maintaining everything so that the house of cards doesn't come falling down. That's sort of how they all are. What I've felt with Dead of Winter, and what I find interesting being that it's not that new of a game, is it's a little bit different. It doesn't quite feel the same in that triage kind of way. Obviously it's there and it is still similar, but I don't know if the theme is just immersive enough that it doesn't quite feel that way, but it stands out for me as a co-op gamer. I'm like, this is different. This feels a little more engaging. So gonna play that a handful of times. Also, it's spooky season, so it's a great game to be playing. I should be playing more Final Girl. What else? I mentioned Skyteam. Skyteam's a really fun one. It's been the easiest to table since I've gotten it because it plays super quick, teaches super quick, and it doesn't feel quite board gamey the same way other board games do. And I say that in a good way, because I've been able to pull it out with people that I otherwise wouldn't just like drop Spirit Island in front of. I wouldn't drop board games in front of. But that's when I'm like, you want to do this thing? It's easy, fun, quick. And it's always people have always enjoyed it. We've never played just one game. I start with the tutorial, the Trudeau, Montreal, and then we'll play another one. Every time. And they're like, we should play that again. I'm like, I need to tell me when. So that's a good one. I've been playing that. I still haven't really gotten into any of the yellows or reds or blacks, which is also exciting because there's just so much in that box to go through. And then I got taken advantage of recently by Temu. They got me. They friggin' got me. I don't know how I even got on Temu. I think I clicked an ad. And I'm usually pretty good. Not even usually pretty good. I'm like, I know ads. I know they're out there. But Temu, I must have been vulnerable or something. It was late at night. I ended up on Temu. The wheel spun. I won. What a treat. Another wheel spin. I won again. I was like, all right, hold on here. But then it seemed great. It told me to pick some items. I was going to get them for like 1 cent. And then I spent probably an hour picking the 3 best items I could find. And then I needed to earn like 640 in credits or something to then unlock those items. And I was like, well, I might as well like let me try to buy something for like $10 and see, like, is that all I need to do is spend 640? And so I go to buy something for $10 and there's no deliveries until you're at $35. So then I got up to over $35 and then that only brought the 640 credits I got down X amount. I was like, well, fuck, I guess that's not it. And then I somehow repeated that like 3 times with different Temu promotions. And I spent $225 on Temu in like 7 different deliveries to the point where I didn't even know what was coming. It was kind of like Christmas. There's 2 new pillows in there, a golf club. I'm a golfer now. But there were 2 board games in there, which maybe I shouldn't have bought board games off Temu. Maybe they're knockoffs. Maybe they're stealing it. Maybe it's bad. But it was Coop. Because Coup It's a classic. I don't even really like it that much, but I was trying to hit these minimum amounts, so I got Coup. I figured that will get play at some point at New Year's at some sort of group gathering as a pre-game to other games. And then one that I did get that I had seen and wanted, and this one I feel is a knockoff, and I now feel bad about it, is Agent Avenue, which I will put a little picture of it here, which is a fun little 2-player card game, which also feels very approachable. It does not take up a ton of space. It's a small box. It feels like a great little pub game. Bring it down to the pub, bring it somewhere, take it out. It can play really fast. We played 3 rounds of it, and one was over in like 2 turns. And the others were a little bit longer, but not long by any means, like 5-minute games. And I think that's great. It's cards based, it's all cards with a little board, but it doesn't feel like cards. And for whatever reason, I'm kind of against card games. Card games as board games. Card games are my first love. Like, I'll play Oh Hell 10 hours a day, or 500, or I love card games. I love playing cards. But I have something against card-based board games, especially trick takers. And I haven't even played any, but I just don't want to, because I can play trick-taking card games, and I don't like that you're just slapping colors and animals and things on cards and then repurposing it and selling it to me. But this was a card game that was different. It's cards, but it's not like this card has one value. Every card has like a couple different values and they stack and blah, blah, blah. But Agent Avenue, if you happen upon it, it seems like fun. There's a more intense mode that we haven't even gotten into. I'm sure that would add a little bit extra. It's one of those where I don't think you can strategize too much in it. Like at some point, it's just going to come down to, I'll take this unknown. Yeah, you got me. But that's kind of fun, especially when it plays so quickly. And you can be like, okay, we're going again. Then you start to read your opponent, especially if you play with them a lot. It's a bit of gambling, really. And it's decent fun. I think that's all I got. I think that's probably pretty good. And I don't mean I think it's pretty good. Like, I think that quality was good, because I'm not confident enough to actually think that. But I'm glad I got into a groove and was able to sit down and record something like that. And I will get to the editing table. And we'll see if this ever makes it. Tabletop Roots, like. I think that's this one. Subscribe. That's the little bell. Comment. Is it a speech bubble? Some sort of bubble? Do those things if you care to. Because engagement is my fuel. Rooting for you. I want that to be a catchphrase, but I feel like it's too corny. I'm rooting for you. Whatever you're doing, I'm rooting for you. Because this is Tabletop Roots, where we root for each other.